I'm gonna.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Viking Book
Alan
Club.
will always drop on you.
Oh, snap.
Oh man, I'm so
no,
bad at that.
no three, two,
Anyway,
one, no nothing.
DJ was trying to say something backstage, and I just basically went live and cut his ass off. I apologize for that, DJ. You can tell
No,
us.
I'm glad you did because I would have been canceled.
Oh no, you wouldn't have.
There was nothing but hate speech about to come out of my mouth right now. So.
That's not hate speech. It's called truth. It's not. It's.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right, everybody. We are here to talk about Infinity Gauntlet, and we have Mr. DJ Links here because, well, he loves Thanos. I think he dreams about him at night. I don't know for sure, but he might.
I confirmed I dream about Thanos at night. I pre-ordered 6 of those risque Thanos statues that my good buddy Gem Mint revealed on his channel with Thanos, face down, ass up. That's what we
You did order 6 of those?
You ordered 6 of those?
pre-ordered 6. It's cool because you know how sometimes there's like a baker's dozen. If you pre-order 6 of the risque statues, it's just called a train. So I ordered a train of Thanos statues.
Wow. Okay. Infinity
That's a bakery.
All right.
With all that cake.
Infinity God. Welcome, everybody. Let's say hi to the chat a little bit. Of course, Durs, you're here, bro. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. Shop, how you doing, man? If everybody doesn't know, Shop is bringing out some mystery boxes. Go get them.
They're live.
Mr. Circumstances. Hey, Marcus, how you doing, man? Then we have Couchin' and Slouchin' with C Bizzle. C Bizzle, did I say that right? C Bizzle.
It is C Bizzle.
All right, okay. And Chop and Drop, of course. Who else? I mean, yeah, always there. Always
considering like everybody's live right now, this is pretty good. So let's break right into it and get into some Infinity Gauntlet. Are we talking tie-ins or just 1 through 6?
Just 1 through 6. Start us off, man.
I would like to start off with everybody just talking about, like, I know DJ and I think are going to share a lot on this one because you read it back in the day and then came back to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also did. This was my first event where I was really hyped. I came in at the end of, I started collecting comics on the regular at the end of Acts of Vengeance. A little bit Atlantis Attacks, they were right around each other. And I had some back issues that tied into Inferno, but this was the first time outside, well, I think maybe Operation Galactic Storm too. But anyway, Infinity Gauntlet, I got all 6 issues and I bought all the tie-ins. And I was hyped. I had the promo. It was all about the promo poster. That's what got me. Like, my shop had that promo poster, and that was on my door at my mom's house all the way through high school. Like, I took that with me when I graduated high school and left.
Nice.
So I was quite shocked because normally, from what I known before, is that comic book movies or movies or series or sagas never follow the comics very well. The thing was, I was reading this book and I was like, I've seen this already.
Send Durst the links. He said he read it.
Yeah. All right. I will send Durst
that link out to Durst.
I got him. You keep talking.
Oh no, sorry.
But yeah, I just thought that I was, I'd already seen it. It was nice to see how they followed it all the way up into the end, which was great. I love the end.
Yeah, for me, this was the first, excuse me, like #1 comic book that I remember getting back in the day. So I was a big fan of Silver Surfer. So I was getting the Silver Surfer around when Thanos came back. That was my real introduction to Thanos, like when he came back with the Infinity Gauntlet. So before that, there was like a Thanos Quest, which I enjoyed. And then Silver Surfer, the Thanos Quest was just, 2-shot. And then this, and I was just super hyped for it, man. It's before reading it again, so I just read it again. It was one of my favorite stories of all time. don't know if it held up as well as some of the other stories that I'm getting into. Meaning, so I'm getting like Watchmen, for instance. I read Watchmen, and that blew my mind. I think this, for it being like the first major crossover event that I've ever experienced, I absolutely loved it. And I remember, reading all 6 and back to back to back, reading it again, back to back to back. It was just amazing. And then I remember getting pissed off at Infinity War, but that's another story.
What pissed you off about Infinity War?
It was like
the end, or
the doppelganger thing. I don't know. I didn't get it. I was expecting more like Infinity
the doppelganger, and then like the characters of Faith all joined the one side. It felt like an unnecessary holy war.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's up there. Definitely from a nostalgia factor, it's my favorite storyline of all time.
Well, and I think for me, it's all about the context of when I read it. If I read it now, I'd probably be less impressed with it. But as a kid, I didn't know George Perez had better work like Crisis and stuff. So this was this felt the most vast to anything I had read to that point. And those George Perez panels, the double page splashes, they just grabbed you. They like, if you weren't used to reading stuff like this, if you hadn't read Crisis, essentially, seeing this, it felt like it was taking place in space because it felt so big, and it was incredible. And I'm skipping ahead. I'm not a huge fan of going page by page.
We're not going
so I'm going to skip to my.
We're not going
parts,
page by page. I'm out.
I remember my oh shit moment was when Cyclops' head gets encased in that block. And I was like, oh, like this is high stakes. Like, you just see that panel and everybody's getting wrecked. And to talk about it from an art collector standpoint, last year, a major collector retired, and he released 20 pages from this series for sale. And they went and, it was a range of 3,000 all the way up to 20,000, depending on the page's significance.
Did you get one?
I did not. Did you hear where I started with $3,000, buddy?
Oh, yeah,
you've seen what I do. I don't collect like that, man. But it was incredible to look at and see those pages for the first time. And they'd hit the first time they hit the market in like 10 years.
Yeah. I would love to get an original page from this first issue.
Yeah.
Like,
what page would it be?
I'm itching to get them.
What page would it be?
Probably from issue number 1.
It was all 6 issues. So it was from the span of it. It was primarily the Perez pages. So for those of you that don't know, George quit around the halfway point of issue 4, and Ron Lim tagged in. And I would argue that I kind of prefer Ron. Okay, my favorite page of this whole series is a Ron Lim page. We'll put it that way.
I'll flat out say I prefer Ron Lim to George Perez. Not that it's not.
It's his Thanos. His Thanos is better.
My favorite page is that, and it's the very last page.
And that's a George page.
Yeah, it's just because if you don't know about Thanos, that page just says everything, where he is that badass, where he's just standing there and says, "Come get me."
This right here, dude.
Let me make
Eternity.
After he kills Eternity.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's sexy.
Not gonna lie, that was one of the pages available last year, and I believe it sold in the 5 to 6 range. 1,000.
That's a lot of money for a page.
That is a lot of money. And look at DJ's like thinking, I would have done it.
I would have done it
in a heartbeat.
Would you really? Oh,
I would have. Yeah, if it was like the full. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's the full 12 by 18.
Yeah.
11 and a half by 17 and a half.
When I was in New York Comic Con, I had to ask, right? So it was like one of those heritage booths or whatever you call it. I don't even know. So I was like, hey, how much is that? It was a Ron Lim Thanos from a Silver Surfer issue, but it was a full page, no panels, just the big one panel of Thanos. And he was like, it's up for auction. And I was like, whatever. That was such a lame story. I apologize.
He probably stereotyped you and be like, "What? It doesn't matter. You can't afford it."
It wasn't the first time. It won't be the last time. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're right, Shop. I got it wrong. You guys were talking Infinity War, and I was thinking Infinity Crusade. I went one infinity too far.
One infinity too far?
Yeah,
Infinity War was Magnus. That was the evil.
Yeah,
and the evil Hobgoblin. Like, why would bad guys have evil versions of them? It's a demon goblin.
That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Demon goblin was stupid.
Yeah. But we're digressing.
Except for he did fight Darkhawk.
So DJ, what spurred your like love for Thanos?
So this book, man, like legit,
this book.
So what introduced me to comic book characters in general was obviously the Incredible Hulk Lou Ferrigno show. That was just one solitary character doing his thing, just a bunch of humans. Then when I got into comics, it was like I had a Batman. My brother gave me a Detective Comics, a G.I. Joe, a Web of Spider-Man, and it was always the character in the one book. So then when I started reading Silver Surfer, it was like kind of like the same deal, whatever, blah, blah. But then when it got to this, and this was what made me really love Thanos, is because he needed every single person in the Marvel universe at that time to take him down. And I've always been drawn to like badasses and violent movies, right? So I'm a third child. There's 5 of us siblings wise, and I'm the third. So I always had to watch whatever my older brothers watched. And that means I got to watch all the violent stuff that my heart could take in. And that's what I got out of this book. Like Thanos was badass, needed every single hero to team up to fight him. Even Dr. Doom, who was a villain, even though he had like, his own nefarious motives. And that's what made me love this dude, even though he was a simp with the Lady Death stuff. But that's what made me love this guy, man. And everybody had to team up to take him out.
Let's talk about how Thanos should have probably just called 1-800-Flowers. Not a sponsor, and get her something nice, or get her something nice from the Augusta Book Exchange, which is a sponsor.
Yes,
sponsor. We have a sponsor now, DJ.
The link is down in the description.
Shout out to Paul Rogers.
Shout out to Paul Rogers.
No affiliation with Roy, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Get all of your comic book needs in the greater Augusta area at the Augusta Book Exchange. And if you don't, we'll find out where you live and we'll come after you.
So besides this, also in the Thanos
Paul's going to drop us so
no, right?
I'm not going to drop you guys. In the Thanos quest, how he was able to get all the gems, and not just through like just his might, like through his intellect and his cunning and shit like that, how he was able to get the stones, which was the gems, not the stones, the gems. Which was amazing. That was one of the things I hated in the movie, that they were calling them stones when they were gems.
Yeah. They're definitely gems. I mean.
So if you didn't know, what we were talking about with with Death is that Thanos falls in love with Death because he died. And he meets Death and he courts her. And he then escapes the beyond, goes on this quest for these gems, collects them, and then wipes out life to pay tribute to her. But it doesn't earn her love. She turns away from him because
she was still bone dry.
He did it for himself. Well, what was the servant's name?
Mephisto?
No, the other guy. I don't think they named him in
Yeah, he was like the spokesman for Death.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild. She doesn't fall for it, and Thanos gets accused of, no, you did this because you wanted to, and your power now surpasses her. So how are you're putting yourself above her. You're not courting her. You're just justifying your genocide.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so he's turned away. His love advances are spurned, and
He goes to live on a farm.
that's actually my favorite. So when we were talking about favorite panels,
Mhm.
Hey,
that's
Ken,
my favorite. Farmer Thanos is.
Farmer Thanos
He
is
looks
pretty
so
awesome.
cool in a tunic, and just with his hoe.
Yeah. Hey, don't talk about death like that.
Poor Nebula, she really got a bad deal.
But
Yeah.
the part that I loved the most was the end. And I know that we shouldn't jump to the end, but I'm gonna because it was my
The
favorite
art
part.
gets better.
Yeah.
It does.
George was plagued by deadlines, and I
Yeah.
don't think, to be honest, I don't think by the end of issue 3 and halfway through issue 4, you're getting his best work.
Mhm.
Issue 1, he comes out. That's his style. It's a banger. You get the big rooms full of every freaking hero in the Marvel universe. But by issue 4, it's not George Perez, not the George Perez that we all love for what he does best, which is taking a panel and jamming as many
Mhm.
people into it, but
I
still
just
being detailed.
Yeah.
Like you look at those beginning pages, and when you're in those room full of people, you can tell who everyone is, and that's his talent, is that he can jam pack.
I just at the end when they don't kill Thanos. Obviously, in the movies they kill him because I don't know why they did that, but whatever. They don't kill him, and the one I don't know, the ugly
They banish
looking,
him to the Soul Gem.
yeah, the troll dude is like, why aren't we doing something? Why are we just walking
Pip
away?
the troll.
Yeah, the troll. I don't know. He looks like a troll smoking a cigar. Anyway, forgot his name.
I hate that they made him in the End of Eternals Patton Oswalt. Pip the Troll to me is just like a Scottish like guy drinking like pints. In my
Mhm.
mind, that's what I hear when I read it, when I do the voices.
He's Scottish, huh?
And it's just that he says that, without Thanos, it is incomplete. The universe is incomplete. We have to have Thanos.
Mhm.
And I think that just speaks to more what you were saying, DJ, of how awesome he is. That without him, it would be incomplete. Now, granted, you could probably say that about some other superheroes or something, but I mean, they didn't. They said it about a villain.
Mhm. Yeah, my favorite part is when Adam Warlock told him, "Hey Thanos,
You complete me.
that was my favorite part."
So now, DJ, again, I don't mean to leave Alan out of this, but
Go for it.
I mean, we share this. We're about the same age. We read this when it came out. We were basically the same age. Because you're 43, I'm 43, right?
I'm 32.
Oh,
Same thing.
no wonder you look so good.
Nah,
I actually
I-
feel
I-
better now. If I thought you were my age, I would
am,
feel pretty shitty.
I am the big 4'3", sir.
So yeah, we read this at the same age when it came out.
Mhm.
Were you confused? Because I'll admit, I didn't know some of these characters, and I didn't know when that car accident happens and the people die, and they slowly are becoming Warlock's crew
Mhm.
of Gamora and Pip. I was really confused. Did that get you too when you were a kid?
Yeah, no, I was always super confused with some of these stuff. Like some of the like themes are too grand and vast and things like that. And there are story elements that if you don't grasp it, you're just gonna be super lost. So until this reading, I finally got the Pip the Troll, Gamora thing, and all that stuff. I have no idea how they even got into those
Because they were
bodies
already
that are
dead.
yeah, so I was just like, whatever. So reading that, now I got that. And one of the other things that I got in this reading was that the majority of it is narrated by Eros, which in the beginning I thought it was just a narrator, like
Yeah.
narrating the panels.
Same.
No, it's Eros,
Yeah.
Thanos' brother.
Shout out to Eros. When Thanos took his mouth away, that was one of those oh shit moments for me. Like, what? He took his mouth away?
And see, I wasn't super familiar with him yet. I know I had read an Avengers book with him in it, but I didn't read any of the. I didn't read Silver Surfer back then. So until this kicked off, I didn't go. I think I read issues 5 or 6. I think I finished the series, then went back and read Surfer. So yeah, it's just, I missed out on a lot, and a lot of it went over my head, but I still enjoyed it, and it was because of those vast battles, the oh shit moments. I remember just staring at that page with Cyclops' head in a box, where I was just like he's gonna die.
That when I forgot the character that turned them into the paper, like it was Mantis in the movie. So I forgot who he did that to in the thing. And then the same thing with the blocks that I was like, holy crap. It's not just fisticuffs. It's using your noodle and using the, stones to your full advantage.
And Hulk gets made tiny.
You just said it was stones. You just said stones.
I'm sorry. I meant gems. Damn you, MCU. Not only did you ruin the Infinity Gems by calling them stones, you also gave us Thor Love and Thunder.
So I avoided it earlier, but let's talk about the closest we'll ever get to the Infinity Gauntlet on the big screen. Avengers Endgame. What did you think, DJ? Like, having been that kid that loved this series, did that deliver for you?
Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Just seeing all those characters on the screen. Yeah, I maybe 3 times a month, I still watch that battle from Endgame. Just the battle, not the whole movie. I'll just put it on. If there's nothing to do, if we're waiting for this thing to start at 8, hey, it's 6:45. Let's watch the battle. Legit. That payoff in the movie, especially somebody that enjoys this story so much, seeing all those characters come together on the screen, brought me to tears. It was legit my childhood come to life. Like I tell people, like, when it was coming out, I was like, yeah, you've been waiting for this movie since the end of Infinity War. I've been waiting for this movie since 1990. And it's legit my childhood come to life. Yo, I'm bawling tears. To this day, I watch it and a tear still rolls down my cheek because it's legit my childhood. That movie takes me back to being, in the comic book store, getting my comic books behind bulletproof glass. Yeah, let me get that one down, whatever the case may be. And it takes me back to that, I was 10 years old.
We had different childhoods.
Legit. I told this to Brian LCS when I was on the 411. The only comic book I've ever been to in my life is the comic book where I used to get my comic books back in the day, a Myrtle between Clausen and Emerson behind bulletproof glass. You had to get the comic books. Crazy. It might have been like a liquor store prior to.
Okay.
And they had you put the comic book and they had the tilty thing and you put your money, they spin it, and then you get the book. Yeah, whatever.
That's awesome.
I grew up in the hood, man. Bed-Stuy, do or die, Brooklyn.
There ain't nothing wrong with it, bro.
Yeah, so that whole battle on the screen, legit. It brings me to tears.
Yeah, for me, I was a little cynical that there were aspects I didn't get. It didn't feel as vast as the comic book did as a kid. Thanos was a little different. The circumstances were different.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept reminding myself, and I think part of my problem is by that point, I'd read so many comics after that. Mm-hmm. That while it had a soft spot in my heart, I kind of had a tendency to be really critical of things. I didn't like how they did the Novas in Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't like a lot of the cosmic stuff they had done to that point. So when we finally get to the payoff, I wasn't appreciating it as much as the kid me would have. And then I kind of had to check myself after I left the theater, and I really had a conversation with myself where I was like, listen, when you were a kid, you used to stand outside your door with your fist over, Thanos's gauntlet on the poster, and you would like fantasize about being in this world with these heroes.
What's up, boss?
Like now you're nitpicking that it got made into a movie because it's not the movie you wanted it to be. Yeah, that's always going to happen when they make a movie out of a book. But
Well, they really
be
can't.
grateful you got what you got, and
But they can't make a movie that's just like the book. I mean, that movie would be 10 hours long. I mean,
well,
and
and,
still
and
not
all
even
the
be
stuff
enough.
leading up to it to make it make sense would be even more vast of a library. Um, I get it. I have a tendency to get critical because
Mhm.
when you've read as much and when you have lived in the comic book life for so long, you get very nitpicky
Mhm.
as to what you like,
Yeah, for me,
or at
it was
least I
obvious.
did.
Yeah, no, for me it was obviously different than the comic book, and I appreciated that. One of the things that I didn't like, I mentioned it here, called Thanos a simp multiple times. I didn't like that whole thing about him and just wanting to prove himself to death and stuff. I did in the book. In the movies, I was like, that's never going to translate well. So I'm glad they made him into this crazy
Environmentalist.
military general. That, yeah, he was right. I'm just saying he was right. He wanted to, you know what I mean, get the proper resources to his people. And how do you do that? You eliminate half the planet. I'm with Thanos was right. I'm just saying.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I
That's
enjoyed
all I'm
yeah,
saying.
I enjoyed what they did to him. I'm glad they gave him a real like voice. It wasn't very augmented, similar
Deep.
to this dude. What's his name? Dark Side and Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I love, one of my favorite movies as well. But I like that Thanos's voice was more. It was Josh Brolin, and it I sympathize with him. He wasn't evil. He wasn't out to kill people. He could have killed everybody on nowhere. He just dipped. It was just like, yo, peace, I'm out. And
I
I
liked
just enjoyed Thanos.
I liked the focus on his mission
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
that
he's
reminded
definitely,
me of
yes.
of the focus he had in the comic. Single-mindedly determined to provide the snap.
Mhm.
And however, there are again, I really hate how they did Cosmic Marvel. Not a fan of it. I didn't like Lebowski Thor. I wasn't a huge fan of. I honestly, I just wasn't a huge fan of Endgame. I thought it started strong with Infinity War. Um, it just Endgame didn't didn't hit as hard for me.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that criticism. I think
Yeah.
with especially with like Lebowski Thor, it's just after the fact, like watching it a million times and dissecting it, why he was like this and this and that. Like I could see it, but watching it there in the moment, it was just like, why is he's just being played for laughs. You know what I mean? Uh, and not going into the whole PTSD thing that he had, because it was all on his shoulders. He caused this. He could have went for the head, and he didn't, and he was the reason that half of the universe was gone, which is a dope um detail when they're fighting at the end in the big battle scene. Every single swing that Thor takes at Thanos is for the head. Every single swing with the axe is for his head.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a great detail that I don't know if I've ever noticed that.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen this fucking thing a million times.
Yeah, that's not the one I rewatch. I like Infinity War. I like how it ends the way my favorite panel. Thanos becomes a farmer,
Mm-hmm.
a man of simple means.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that too. Like I'll watch that whole thing and then just watch the endgame battle scene.
Sorry about that. My wife had to ask me a question.
I got bugged by my stepchild.
And what
I'm
was the
waiting for
question?
somebody to bug me. Oh. I hate when people leave me alone and respect my time on the internet. It's
You're right.
terrible.
There's no
Yeah.
such thing.
Interrupt me with a beer.
I'm sorry, DJ. What were you saying, though?
What was I saying? Oh, so I love Infinity War. I think Infinity War is the better movie. So I'll watch Infinity War in its entirety, and then I'll watch the end game, just that battle scene from when Hulk snaps up onto Tony Stark snaps. So it's
And
like
I do love the Captain America Avengers Assemble line. I cheered in the theater for that.
yeah, that was dope. I'm telling you, for me, like legit, man. So I'm sitting there in the theater. I saw it 3 times. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Opening weekend. I've seen it 3 times. So on Friday night, I'm there, and it's just so much going on. And by the time Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, so you see the hammer like lift in slow motion, blah blah. As soon as this dude caught it, and then you hear the music, and then I couldn't take it anymore. I had so much joy built up within me. The only way that I was able to express that was just to fucking weep there in my chair. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. I was 10-year-old Danny in that chair in that theater that day. And it was like all my dreams had came true at that point. I'm about to cry just talking about it.
Yeah. And I love that I love that you're that into it.
Yeah.
I just wish I hadn't gotten so cynical. And there are times where I can really appreciate it. And there was a moment during Infinity War where I was just sitting in the theater waiting for it to start the first viewing, which was the first viewing they had in the city I lived in. Like, I was excited. And I had this moment where I was just kind of sitting quietly thinking, I can't believe like it's come this far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just spitballing, but I think I was about 11, 12 when I read it the first time. I think that was my age. And when you flash forward to when that finally hit, and what was that, 2017, 2016?
I forgot.
Yeah.
The first
I want to say
Infinity War, yeah.
16 maybe.
Like that crazy gap of time there, and we got this. We got here. And I did have a very grateful moment, but yeah. then my inner nitpicking bastard takes over and is like, well, this is stupid and this is dumb.
So I really want to sit next to you while we watch Flash, but I kind of don't.
Sitting next to me at comic book movies, you can ask Marcus, it's overrated. I just sigh a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, it's better than what Mark does. No, it's better than what Mark does.
Supposedly, that's what I did during Thor: Love and Thunder. Is every time one of those godless, faithless jokes was made, I would be like,
I wanted to throw my soda at the screen every time I heard a damn goat. I was.
My wife, to this day, if we talk about Love and Thunder, she starts just laughing. So she was laughing in the movie, but she wasn't laughing at the jokes. She was laughing at my reaction to the movie because I was there stone faced, like like a little kid, like I don't want to go. I hated that fucking movie. Yeah, I'm there like that with my arms crossed, like this, like it was the worst. DVH in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but to your point, Mike, about it's come this far. That's why, even though I'm critical of the like Phase 4 and all that stuff, I'll be completely honest. If another Marvel movie is never made, I'll be happy because we got to see Endgame and I got to see my favorite character, Thanos, portrayed in a fantastic way. They did kind of fucking put a skirt on Hulk, but that's a story for another day. But
Speedball or nothing. I'm not stopping this MCU bus till they give me Speedball.
You got to be careful yelling, I want Speedball at the top of my lungs. You know what I'm saying?
Speedball.
Yo, I got you. Meet me in the alley.
Meet me in the alley.
Louis, what's up, Louis? Yeah, if somebody spoiled that Cap hammer scene, that would have been the worst. One of the things that I was super hype about too in Infinity War was the Red Skull callback and Red Skull reemerging. Like that, I was like, I grabbed my wife's arm, like, oh, dug right into her fucking wrist. I was like, oh, that's Red Skull. Don't tell me different. And she was like, stop. I was like, shut up, it's Red Skull. I don't know.
All right. I want to do something where we go around and we give we give a score to the comic book because we got off track. We went into the movies. Let's get back to this comic book.
But I mean, boy, with this book, you have to talk about the movie.
Yeah, it had to be done.
You're talking the entire foundation of the MCU as we know it now is this book and the build up to it. And that's it. If we didn't have this book,
stuff.
the MCU would be trash right now. I mean, it's already on that way, but.
And I wish they would have made Adam Warlock a part of it too. That's one of my big gripes, is that they needed a few more characters for me to consider this. Eros should have been in it, like you said, DJ. He was the narrator. Yeah. But anyway, let's all just in the chat, everybody. You can go 1 decimal point, scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna give a score for 12-year-old Mike. I'm going to give a score for current Mike, and I'm going to go 9.4/8.1.
So for me, little me, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 because I legit thought it was the greatest thing in the history of the world.
I was pretty close to there myself.
Yeah. Now, I'm probably with you. Like an 8.5. A lot
it's got its place in comic book history. But it's not even in. It's not in my top 5 for event books. It might be number 5.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is just storyline wise. There's a bunch of there are better trades or collected series if you want to get into it. It's definitely one of these books. If somebody says, "Hey, give me your top 5 trades. I'm a new collector. What should I get into?" This is definitely one of the ones that I'm going to recommend.
Fair enough. See, I don't know if I would, only because I feel like to break somebody in with this story would kind of do to them what happened to me as a kid, which you get kind of lost. Now you have the movies though, which would give you some background, but that car wreck scene really messed with me for a long time. And when I would reread it as a kid, I would just skip it because I didn't get it.
Yeah, so even reading it now, like I said before, I totally forgot about it. So I was just like, what the hell is this? I don't remember this.
Yeah, because you probably skipped it as a kid because it made absolutely no sense.
I'm giving it an 8.2.
Did you read it as a child?
Nope.
Your childhood sucked.
This was the first time you read it for this?
Yeah, but I was tainted by the movie.
Taint.
I couldn't think of affected. I was affected by the movies. So as I'm reading, I'm like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do this? Well, then I'm thinking, why didn't they put this in the book and instead, yeah.
Dr. Von Hoot, go read Infinity Gauntlet.
I should probably read it.
No, and not to go back to the movies, right? But Izzy says Adam Warlock is my favorite character. I wish Silver Surfer 2, both very important to the original story. Meaning Silver Surfer was in the movie. I had told in Infinity, in Endgame, I totally forgot Captain Marvel was off planet. So when they're like, "What's that? Something just entered the Earth's atmosphere," and then I'm like, "That's Silver Surfer! That's Silver Surfer!" And then it wasn't, and I was just like, "I'm an idiot for thinking it's Silver Surfer."
And that whole Hulk thing when they send Hulk to Earth, Heimdall sends him to that's supposed to be Surfer.
Yeah.
Crashing to Earth. That's one of the pages that sold for north of 20,000. They had the page where he crashes through the Sanctum Sanctorum, and that sold for like 28,000-ish.
Jesus, and that's in like the lower quarter, right?
It's a big moment though in the first issue.
This right here,
that page, the original art for that page.
Yep.
God.
No, that's after.
No, that was in the beginning. Surfer is
there.
28 G's
for that.
For this page right here.
Yeah.
Thanos is coming. Thanos is coming.
Yeah, they don't mess with Nebula in the same way. I mean, they made her more of a cyborg in the movies. I'm sorry. Like, I know Guardians of the Galaxy is highly revered, and I liked the first movie a lot, but there's a lot wrong with it. They
There's a
screwed up
huge lot,
Novas,
yeah. There,
and
but
because of it, I didn't get Dick Rider. And
Shout out to all my dick riders.
the reason you want to know why Guardians of the Galaxy is so popular, it's for all the non-comic book people, and it
Jesus.
has Rocket and Groot. That's why. Done. That's why. That's why it's so popular.
yeah, I'm all right with Rocket getting his,
Oh, I love Rocket,
his
but
due.
Rocket.
Oh, mine's because it allowed Bill Mantlo to die with human dignity. He was living in a nursing home and not a good situation, and his royalties on Rocket allowed his brother to move him in to a home that was capable and a day nurse to come in and help take care of him, to where he was able to spend his last few years not in bad conditions, not in a substandard nursing home. So good for Rocket, and good for all that money that Bill's brother was able to buy a house with.
This went dark.
I did.
Oh, shit.
You know, that story gets weirder. Do you know who negotiated that deal that got Bill Mantlo that money and allowed him to spend his last few years in dignity?
Harvey Weinstein.
His arch enemy, Jim Shooter.
Jim Shooter.
God.
The guy who Bill Mantlo burned in effigy along with John Byrne at a cookout. They made a fake Jim Shooter, and they burned him at a cookout when he got fired.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They celebrated his firing, but the man provided for them 30 years down the road with that royalty deal. So hey,
Full circle.
be even grateful for your enemies.
Yeah.
Just to get back to the book, because it's funny because I just opened it up.
Go down rabbit holes.
No, the whole thing with Thor, where because it was Eric Masterson, and he was just like, well, "Are they gonna notice I'm not with it?" And I was like, "Who cares? Like, dude, you got the power of Thor. Help us." I was just like, "Okay." Like,
I'm not good enough.
And then in one panel he doesn't have a beard, and in the other panel he has the beard, which was kind of like I was like, "What?"
Again, George had deadlines.
Yeah, deadlines.
That's also when I knew it was serious back then, when Hulk and Wolverine were talking.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like the mutual respect that enemies have that they gain through battle. And Wolverine goes up there, and I'm like, "Oh shit, they're gonna fight!" And he's just like, "What's up, shorty? Whatever, have a seat." Like,
And
I
this
was
was
like,
Smart
"What?"
Hulk.
Yeah,
And there weren't a lot of tie-ins to Infinity Gauntlet during the 6-issue run, but Hulk was one of them. He got shrunk down and sent into a New York sewer, which is essentially hell. And he ended up hanging out on the Abomination's shoulder, and Abomination thought he was God.
that was around issue like 383, around there, like 380. The Abomination, like on the cover, had like a trench coat and a hat.
Yeah, we actually covered the Ron Lim and the George Perez. Yeah, so halfway through issue 4 is the cutoff, I believe.
Izzy, anything was better than the movie Hulk. What they did to Mark Ruffalo's Hulk was the absolute worst. I get it, you had to nerf him because of Thanos. I get it, you had to nerf Thor in the end game because of Thanos to make the bad guy be stronger. But it's just like, come on, man, it's the Hulk. Come on, you big green asshole! Like, I'll do it myself.
Do it myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
did you just turn into Hulk? Oh no!
Yes, I did.
Alan is hulking out. And then, of course, Hulk gets mad because somebody didn't stick around. That was one of the when he was talking to Wolverine.
Somebody didn't stick around.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
intentional or what's
No, he actually said that.
happy accident?
Yeah, he was just like, "Oh, they didn't stick around." So
Is that where
that's
you
what
got?
people
Is
gotta
that where you
do.
got your catchphrase from?
No. That was from Predator.
You were right, DJ. 383 to 385.
See, I'm not as dumb as I look. Oh no,
I didn't think you looked dumb.
I didn't think you looked dumb either.
No, I don't want to let everyone know how much of a comic book nerd I really am. Whatever. I just play one on YouTube.
I just played one on YouTube.
That's like legit. That's like some of my favorite Hulk stuff, man. It's stupid around there, and then like after there's like an arc. I don't know if it's before or after with Hulk.
Did you like the Pantheon stuff?
Yeah, I love the Pantheon.
I do
stuff.
too. That hits hard for me.
What is there was where they were like gonna go back in time or something to kill like some kid who was gonna grow up to be a future like purveyor of genocide.
Yeah, that's when Hulk leaves Pantheon, right?
Yeah, because they wanted to kill him and he was just like, I'm not doing this.
And you find out Agamemnon is like a teenager, an immortal teenager.
Yep. That's good stuff, man. That was the last good Hulk storyline. Like that stuff with the Pantheon. Once it gets into
Peter
like,
David at his best.
Yeah, once it gets to like the 390s and everything from 400 up is complete garbage.
You didn't like Immortal Hulk?
Oh yeah. No, I'm just talking about from that volume 2 of Hulk.
Oh,
my favorite issue in all of the and actually it's a 2-issue story arc. I think 2 issues. It's when the Pantheon goes with, Smart Hulk, New Hulk, and they resume Joe Fixit's operation in Reno. Because somebody got killed. Berganetti got killed, I think. And Hulk goes back to set things right. And Ulysses is like really digging being dressed as a gangster. And it's so fun. It's just a fun. And I also like their tie-in with X Factor when they went to that country, Qatar or whatever.
I gotta look up that Hulk story that you were talking about. Hulk was
the Joe Fixit one.
Yeah.
Do you remember it though? Don't you?
I don't.
Because then at the end for the second part of the arc, it's Punisher. Because Punisher's like, I heard legends about this Joe Fixit, and I've wanted. Man, we went completely off Infinity Gauntlet. This is why you can't do a book club with me, Alan.
So that issue where Punisher joins, that's 390. It's either 390 or 391.
God, you're good at this. See, I don't. Everybody thinks like I'm this end all be all fountain of knowledge, but I don't remember the actual issue numbers.
So you say
you can't fuck with me on that Hulk tip, son. I got that Hulk shit locked, man.
Because we went off topic a little bit, but we're not really off topic. We're just expanding outside of it. That's it. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, we love to expand. Now I need to know.
Lord knows my waistline does.
Oh.
Now I gotta look it up to see if you're right. What did you say?
I said it's either 390 or 391. Oh,
I think you're gonna be off. Not sure yet. Oh, it's 395. 396 and
yeah, my gangster card is revoked. Yeah.
395, 396.
Why is your gangster card being revoked?
Because I got that wrong. And
by
I don't
even how off? How off?
I was off by what? 4 issues? 5 issues? But in
how can you stand it?
In nerd talk, that's like you might as well just say, "Hey, Punisher showed up in Batman." I don't know.
No.
Since we're talking about that Peter David run, and we've gone well off the Infinity Gauntlet rails.
Infinity Gauntlet.
One of my favorite Peter David moments, and I think we've had this conversation in the past when we were on a Hulk panel together. I'm a big Rick Jones guy.
Mm-hmm.
And when Rick's going through that thing of trying to get Marlo back after she had been murdered, and he's trying to get her soul back essentially, and that whole itsy bitsy spider scene at the end, That issue, when Captain America shows up and says, sorry, Rick, we've got to be law and order. These cops are here to serve an order that Marlowe's brothers are going to take her. And Rick's pleading with him, don't. All of a sudden, in the distance, you see the boom. And Cap's like, oh no. And Hulk has shown up. And he walks into the room, he's this gigantic monster, and he's like, that's the difference between you and me, Cap. I'll back my friend even if he's wrong. Like I'm that morally gray friend that's a real friend, because I will fight Rick's battles for him even if he's completely in the wrong. Rick, what do you want me to do? And and Cap's like pleading with him, don't do this, son, don't do it. And he's like, Bruce, show the gentleman out. I love that.
Which is, do you know around what issues that is?
You'll tell me. I'm sure I don't.
No, that I don't know.
I can look it up, I'm sure, but
that's
that
awesome.
moment, I just remember being a kid and like, I want the Hulk as a friend.
That's why I gravitate so much towards the Hulk, man, because not only because of the TV series, he at his core, he just wants to be left alone, and he wants to, he looks out for the people that look out for him, and that's what it's all about, man.
Rick's his friend.
Yeah.
And even though Captain America and the Chandler's family had the law on their side, Hulk didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what my buddy wants.
I need to go back and read some of those things, man.
Yeah. I've got all those issues. It's been years since I've read them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have really good retention that I'm able to remember the stories I've read. And that's one part of the reason why it's so burned in is I've read it so many times, because there's just something like, as a kid, I kept rereading that. I was bullied a lot as a kid. So just the idea that there was this friend out there, that would have your back no matter what.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the relationship. And the MCU did us dirty. We didn't get Rick Jones.
Nope.
No. Terrible.
But anyway, we're approaching an hour, so
yes,
I'll stop rambling.
So, DJ, what you got coming up on your channel, bro?
Oh, this is the end of the show where you go around
close.
Oh man, I want to keep talking about just stuff. First of all,
we can keep talking. I can do this all night.
But I want to get to this before everybody dips out.
I have to. I got stuff that I got to take care of. I actually have to iron my clothes for work tomorrow after this. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me, man. I had a lot of fun, and I love talking this nerd stuff, comic books, movies, especially Hulk, Thanos, Infinity Gauntlet. Come on, I had a lot of fun, so thank you for inviting me. What I got coming up? I dropped a video today. I'm going to be dropping some shorts. There is not going to be, well, I'm not hosting it, and in the mix this Friday because I'm going to be away doing something this Friday evening. So I'm not sure if we might do something that's pre-recorded and put it out on Friday, but yeah, I don't know. So just check out, the shorts and stuff like that. I'm Link Squad. You guys are both Link Squad members, and I appreciate you for being Link Squad members. What we're doing this April and May, if you're a Link Squad member for both months, you will be entered into a members appreciation prize drawing, and that prize is going to be a PlayStation 5, and we will be drawing for that at June 2nd. So
my fiance will be very happy when I win.
I hope. Yeah, I hope you do. Yeah, PlayStation 5. So I'm happy that I'm able to take the funds that I get from the channel membership stuff and literally just turn it right back and spit it right back out to you guys. So,
in case people are not members of the Link Squad, you should go.
What's your damn problem?
That, and you should really go check out DJ's channel and highly consider it. What we got there, Beckerman?
It's Incredible Hulk issue 406.
406. Show the people.
All right.
Oh, I did.
Again.
I'm not good at it.
There you go, people.
Get that one.
So that's
Get
probably
that
like
one.
the last good issue
Last good.
It was great.
about everything from then on. And then the Thunderbolts, when the Thunderbolts came on, I obviously that was 447, whatever. But everything up until 474 when it ended was DJ Link's never heard of her.
That's now. I'm
It's
not
kind
even
of like
highlighting
Burke
that.
Family 54 Comics, but
That's mean.
they actually like comics over at DJ Links.
Yeah, I died. Whatever. Shout out to Burke.
Don't shout him out. It just gives him power.
Yeah. Anyway, the head just goes.
He doesn't need a shout out. He's the million view man now.
Yeah. Anyway.
And it's funny because that was on the big shout out to Burke. It was on the what reel was it on? The race with Superman and Flash. And I literally the only comment I left on that was like horrible, either horrible or terrible. It was a bull. I know that. So like terrible, and that was it. I hate anything to do with that 2017 Justice League. I hate that movie so much.
Yeah, but there was a joke about brunch.
There was.
You know what joke was super stupid? Because I was watching clips. So I watched the clip of today. It's funny that we're talking about it. So I watched the 2017 version of the fight with Justice League and Superman, and then the Zack Snyder's one. So when in the 2017 version they're fighting, and Wonder Woman is just like, he's confused. He doesn't know who he is. And this guy's like, Pet Cemetery. Like, oh, come on, man. It's the worst. The worst.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can catch Alan and I on the comic on this very channel on the Hucklebuck, where we talk stuff and things. We show off stuff and things.
Yes.
We have topics now, and we have a sponsor, the Augusta Book Exchange.
Yes.
When you're shopping in the greater Augusta area, you have many choices, but the only choice for us is the Augusta Book Exchange.
That is right.
And if you don't go to the Augusta Book Exchange, well, I tell you what, Alan over here is going to get awfully mad.
I might get upset, but if you don't have a local comic shop that you don't
need a legal department to keep us from saying stupid things during
commercials. You could take the stance that Burke does, and that is his long distance comic shop, I guess you could say, instead of local comic shop. He uses the Augusta Book Exchange as well. So you can do the same thing if you are.
So the Augusta Book Exchange, they'll sell comics to anyone.
Yes, they will.
The Augusta Book Exchange.
I love
all your comic book needs. Now you got a jingle.
Now we got a jingle.
We got a jingle. Paul, you're going to regret this.
No. All right, well, that's going to do it for us, guys. Check us out next month. Pay attention to the YouTube channel and Instagram to find out next month's book. And we will be back with some other people to help us talk about it.
And then we might even talk about the book.
We did talk about the book. I don't want to hear it. We talked about the book.
We did. And then DJ and I fell in love with the Hulk all over again.
Hell yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Hulk smash.